Okay, welcome to the trading room. My name is Sol. Glad to be with you. Just before we get started, please change on your chat, your settings, so all panelists and attendees can see what you type, not only panelists. That way, everyone will see what you write and type, and will be more interesting, and not only me. And second, a quick disclaimer: the way I read the charts and I see the markets, it's not the only way to analyze them and to trade and to manage trades. It's only my point of view, and this is for educational purposes. These are not meant to be buy or sell signals, so please be responsible for your own trading. With that being said, as usual on Mondays, what we're going to do, it's going to go through the majors and some minors and crosses, and we'll analyze key levels on the larger timeframes, dailies and hourlies, so we can find opportunities for the coming week. And tomorrow and Wednesday, of course, will be more active trading sessions. So I'll go through the majors, and if afterwards there's a specific request or of a specific pair, just type it in the chat, and I'll go through it. Okay, so let's start with the Euro USD, and so we have the drawings from last weeks. So we have some job already done here. Okay, we had this important pullback, sell-off to the downside. Then we had a pullback 2 weeks ago. We called this next leg lower. However, that leg lower has signs of weakness. So we had, I believe there were some fundamentals causing this reaction to the upside. Of course, it was getting close to this key level back here and reacted to the upside. And now the question is, does this from this point continues lower all the way to the tops, or starts at next leg higher? So does it continue lower all the way to the lows, or at some point continues and goes higher? So for that, we need to go to lower time frames to try to find supply and demand areas that the market could react to, and to the downside, I don't see any supply here to react. Let me see on the hourlies if there's any. Okay, we reacted to this one already, and you can see there's no supply at all here, but we do have on the tops here. So let's see, where is that on the dailies? Okay, so that rectangle, that's supply, and it's similar to the previous supply we already had drawn. So a pullback all the way to that area, that would be a selling opportunity. And for buying opportunities, let's see if there's some demand. I guess this could be a demand area. Let me see if there's any other. No. Okay, so there's demand down here, and there's supply all this area here. So I guess the point is, if 2 weeks ago we were very sure that this was a downtrend and a down market, now the market has changed. Okay, we have new information, and I would say now the market and the bias is neutral more than bearish, which is not bad. Okay, it provides us with both opportunities to buy and to sell. Let me throw an indicator, because I think there might be some divergence here. Let me confirm that. 1 second. Let's throw a stochastic. Okay, and look at this. So we had lower lows on the dailies, but I hope you see this. We have a higher low on the stochastic. Okay, so there's the divergence here. So as long as price holds above that low, and the divergence triggers, which we could see a continuation higher, okay, and a leg higher. So I guess that's the message. We're on a neutral market, and we can trade both sides this week. So we have demand here, and I'm pretty sure there's demand back here. So any movement down, we can buy. Any movement up these areas, we can sell. Okay, that's it for Euro USD. And I guess we will see a similar pattern in all currency pairs. So let's just go over those. So same here. I'm pretty sure there's some divergence here. We can see this huge buying day that was Friday, I believe, where market failed to continue lower and breaking those lows and had this massive bullish day. That's engulfing candle, and that's a lot of buying pressure and buying signals. So if there's demand, okay, you can see it here very clearly. Okay, so there's demand at the bottom of it. So a pullback to that demand we can buy, and a continuation higher to that supply we can sell. Overall, on the big picture, if you go to the weeklies, okay, or even on the dailies, you can see we're kind of in this big range, okay, sideways range here. And this range and sideways market, it usually continues over the summer. Okay, so July and August, I wouldn't expect a breakout of that big range. When I'm trading ranges, the easiest way to trade those, and this could be on the 5-minute chart, and you see me doing that on the trading rooms on the lower time frames. I wait for the market to go to the lows or the tops of the range, and I buy it. So if this comes to the demand area here and you decide to buy, then you can place your stop below the range and your targets up here, and you have a very controlled risk and a very nice risk reward ratio. So that's for the pound USD. We can buy, we can sell at the tops, we can buy at the bottoms. I don't see here a strong continuation lower. Okay, this is divergence, of course, so there's less momentum behind each one of these pushes lower, so we can buy at bottoms. Let me see the chat. I'll go back to the chat every while. Yeah, Michelle. Yeah, it's just what I said. Next 6 weeks over the summer, we will see where we expect to see ranging markets. USD CAD. Okay, USD CAD. We had this push higher, and this is one that it looks like it was about to change a trend and reverse the trend, the bullish trend to a bullish trend. We're still early to say that, but we can see we had this low here and we formed a higher low, and this technically is a higher high than this one. So those are the first signs of trend reversal. Okay, so on the long term, we could see this continuing higher. However, you can see, let's just confirm that. Okay, you can see this movement. How weak was it? Okay, you can see the divergence on the stochastic. So that tends to that tends to push the market lower in this case. Okay, because this movement, it did create a higher high, but a very weak one. Okay, there wasn't a lot of follow through, a lot of momentum. My bias is in this case is still to the upside. Let's find out if there's some demand here. So let's go to the hourlies. Okay, and you can see it there. Okay, so any push to the lower side, we can buy here, and this rectangle is also a demand, so we can buy here and we can buy here, and as long as we stay above these levels, the divergence hasn't triggered. Okay, so now the trend reversal to the downside hasn't triggered as long as we stay above these levels here. So I would look for opportunities to buy this market at demand, because I don't see any supply here. Okay, we did have supply here, and that's why we reacted here, and we might continue lower a little bit, but there's no more supply. You can see all this big large channel, there was a compressional channel and consumed all supply already. So if there's an important attempt to go higher, there's nothing here to stop that. Okay, there's no key levels or supply to stop a push higher. So I would be more inclined to go long on this pair than short, but I am aware that because of the divergence and the supply here, we could see a retracement, okay, a pullback, maybe this demand here or this demand here, and from there I would be looking for buying opportunities. Okay, so that's for the USD CAD. USD franc has been a tricky one. We are, again, we wouldn't have a clear range like we see in other pairs. We did have this compression, and we talk about a break of compression arc channels. The break came, it was a powerful one, slow down, divergence here, you can see it, and massive bearish day that even created a lower low than previous one. So this could be a potential Quasimodo. If we go to our list, okay, you can see massive supply here. So if this comes higher and reacts to that supply at about that level, that could create a Quasimodo. Okay, so that would be the pattern, which would be a bearish pattern. Of course, there's demand here. So once that triggers and happens, if it will, there's a lot of demand here. So those are also levels for buying opportunities. So I thought 2 weeks ago this would continue higher, but now given the present information that I didn't have 2 weeks before, the lack of and the failed attempt following through higher, massive bearish day, supply created, I would be looking to sell at that supply. Of course, stops need to be above, and anticipating for the Quasimodo pattern to trigger, and my targets would be here, down here. At that area, I also want to buy, because that's a very nice demand that I don't want to miss out. So I'll be looking for buying opportunities here. Okay, at this point, there's nothing to tell me. There's nothing telling me buy right now. Okay, so I'm on the sidelines. I need to wait for price to come to this area. This area I would sell, or if it just continues lower, this area I would buy. Okay, for now I'm on the sidelines on this one. Dollar yen. Okay, dollar yen. 2 weeks ago, I don't know if you remember that, but we were talking about the opportunity of a breakout, okay, of the highs of this resistance here. So we had a pullback, and then we had the break, and the market did break, but immediately reacted to the downside, causing what's called a false breakout. Okay, so it did break, but instead of following through, it reversed and came back. The attempt or the pattern, a continuation pattern, failed, which would have been from this area, okay, continuing higher. Okay, that failed and continued all the way to these lows. Now that has changed my point of view of this market to the upside, now to the downside, because this was a very deep pullback or leg to the downside that has created now a lot of supply. Let's see if we can identify some. Okay, so you can see supply there, supply there. So we have supply, but we do not have demand. Okay, this was a compressionary channel. I don't see any demand, important demand here created. So I would be looking to sell this market because I don't see anything from stopping that, okay, from keeping lower. Let me just confirm that. Okay, you see all demand, okay, has been consumed already on that pattern. So we have demand consumed, demand already tested. So there's no demand here left. So that confirms my bias, okay, my bearish bias. So I want this market to continue higher now, and then I'll look for opportunities to actually sell this market. So my view on this market 2 weeks ago was bullish. Okay, I actually thought this would break and continue, but didn't continue. So now I have new information that I need to I need to be ready to change what I think about the markets when it gives me and provides me new information. Okay, so I always tell you this: I prefer being wrong than losing money. So I don't want to stick to my bullish bias and my bullish reading, because now I have information that is telling me this might have turned into a bearish market or neutral market and not a bullish market. Okay, so if 2 weeks ago I was very bullish, expecting this breakout, now I am neutral and even bearish on this market. Okay, so I want to sell this market right here. Kiwi USD. I mean, guys, I think we'll have similar patterns on all of them. We had the leg, we have the pullback, we have the continuation, and now we have, for last weeks, we have a very choppy markets on the New Zealand and the Aussie, but the Kiwi has been very choppy. I don't see no demand nor supply here, so that would keep me on the sidelines. If we go to our list, let's see if we can find anything. Probably here, but it's not a very clear one. Okay, so that would be a demand, but it's not a very strong one. A lot of sideways movement. There was an attempt to break, and that held. We are forming we are pressing on that area, so that might create we might compress even more on this area, and then that would even break to the downside, or of course, no, wrong line, or break, which in that case would react to the supply, that would pull back and then continue higher. Okay, it's very easy to draw these lines. Real market time and real time, it's more difficult. So these scenarios where I don't have key levels very clear in front of me, I just prefer to stay on the sidelines. Okay, because I'm not sure what's going to happen on this market right here. Okay, so sidelines. Usually Aussie is similar. Let me see if we have some. The Aussie has created lower lows. Okay, which we don't see on the Kiwi, but the Aussie has created lower lows. Of course, I'm pretty sure that's also a divergence. Let me confirm that. Okay, you can see that. Let's look at the lows. You can see the divergence here. So let me see if there's some demand. Yeah, the demand is very weak here. It's not very strong. Supply there. So usually I would look to buy at this demand. For a very weak demand, and I would look to sell this supply. That's a stronger one. So if the divergence continues and triggers, and we see a movement up, I would be looking to sell, because we have more selling opportunities. We have this sell here, and we do have demand up here. So we could sell either here or here, and that would be a selling opportunities. On the buy side, if that breaks and divergence fails, we are now reacting to that demand. You can see the demand here, and we are now reacting to that one. Okay, we have reacted to that one. So if that fails, you can see there's nothing left here. Okay, we have a compressionary channel here, no demand, all the way to these lows. So I want to be more inclined to sell than buying. Okay, so if you're going to buy this demand, just make sure you place your stops, because if that demand fails, there's a lot of room to keep falling down. Let's end up with the Euro JPY and Pound JPY and special requests afterwards. Euro Yen. So the movement we had on the dollar yen. Let's find out if this was a yen movement or a dollar movement. So let's see the Euro JPY and Pound Yen, and let's see if we have similar patterns. Okay, so so Euro Yen, you can read this in very different ways. We can say this is an uptrend and this is a pullback, and we're just waiting for continuation higher. Okay, or we can say we're forming already lower lows and lower highs, and we are on our way to a leg lower, okay, deeper leg lower. Let's see in terms of supply and demand if we see anything interesting here. We are already reacted to this demand. Okay, afterwards we have this demand here. I'm pretty sure we'll find some supply here. So let me just, okay, check that. That would be it. Okay. So we have supply, we have demand here. That's an older one. Okay, but there's demand, there's supply up here. And given the time of the year, I wouldn't get married with any of my readings. I would just sell the supplies, buy the demands, trade both sides. I don't see any clear trend to the upside or to the downside. This is a lower low than this one, but it's a weak one. There's divergence here, so we might see some continuation higher, which would provide us with selling opportunities, or we could see a continuation lower, providing us with buying opportunities of this demand. Okay, so last big trend was an uptrend, but this might turn into a either downtrend or sideways market. So we might start just seeing this moving sideways for the next 1 or 2 months. So both opportunities. And Pound Yen, we had this massive bullish day, which was similar to the pound dollar, because so that was something related to the pound. Again, a very neutral market. You can see there's no continuation on both sides, so we don't have clear demands nor supplies. Let's see why I have those marked there. Okay, supply there. There is supply also here. And you can see the demand is not that clear. Okay, so we on a pound dollar, we did have, just let me show you the difference. Look at this formation, okay, this demand, how we had increasing momentum to the upside forming demand. And if you compare that to the pound yen, you can see how this was forming, okay? A lot of tiny candles forming this up movement. That's not a demand. So I wouldn't be buying the bottoms here, okay? So I guess I would be buying these tops supplies. I don't see any demand here. So bottom line on this one, I don't have a clear bias, and I don't have key levels that I have in other pairs. So I don't want to chase the market, and I want to push my system in these pairs like euro yen and pound yen, where I don't see clear patterns and clear opportunities and clear key levels. I just don't trade them. Okay, I just leave them on the sidelines, and I trade the ones that I do have clear patterns and clear areas and clear everything. Okay, because I have more opportunities there and higher quality setups on those ones. So I just don't need to push myself and my system to find opportunities where I don't see them clearly. Okay, so let me now go to the chat and let me know if you have any special request of a pair. Yeah, owner, we did go over to the pound dollar. Achim Struve, strong. Can you please tell us what's a strong demand or strong supply? Okay, yes, I will tell you. Just before I answer you, please change your settings on your chat, so all attendees can see what you type, please. Okay, and I'll give you an example, and I think I'll use real markets to just show you the difference. Okay, so let's bring this to. Okay, so to determine what's a strong demand and a strong supply area, we want to see an aggressive disconnection from the market from a certain level. Okay, so if we see this one right here, you can see we had this range here, and we had an aggressive disconnection from it. Okay, we had a breakout, an aggressive breakout, where you can see we had this candle and this candle, and then we had larger candles, okay, continuing higher, creating a supply or a demand level, okay, a fresh one. And if you see this one here, look how market form here. Okay, so look at this supply. We have this aggressive disconnection. We have this push and then follow through. Okay, pullback and continuation. Now look at how this demand, or it's not, I don't call it a demand, but look how this was formed. Okay, look at, instead of having large candlesticks for breakout, we have tiny and small candlesticks forming, like running up. Okay, so that's not for me, that's not a clear demand. Okay, so just look at the difference of this one and this one. You can even see the kind of rounding instead of just going straight up. But of course, we have a lot of videos on the YouTube channel, so just go over the YouTube channel. There's a lot of videos about supply and demand and how to recognize those. And with some practice, they will just spot them easily. By the way, we had this one from 2 weeks ago. Euro yen, a very balanced pair. You can see the compression forming, compression on channel. We are approaching that demand, and look at that demand. Let me show it on the. Okay, look at the demand area here, how it formed. Okay, it pushed higher and then continued. Okay, so that was that's the demand. I'm just waiting for the market to go to that demand and react to it, because similar to what we showed in other pairs, there's no supply here. So in case that we have a reaction to demand and a push higher, there's no supply to stop that movement higher. So I placed that 2 weeks ago and I haven't moved it. I'm waiting for the market to reach that area and hopefully see a reaction to that one. Okay, let me go to some requests here. Euro franc, Euro New Zealand. Okay, so Euro franc. Let me see if I can find. We were following this channel, but looks like that last push lower has been an aggressive one. So let me see if there's. It looks like there's demand there. Just let me confirm that on the lower time frames. Okay, and look what okay. Look at this formation. Okay, I thought there was demand down here, but if you see how this is formed, and I'm just wanna. Okay, I thought that was demand, but now when I go to lower time frames, look at how that's formed. Okay, you can see there's a lot of tiny movement candles, and there's no clear directional movement. So, so actually, this that on the daily looks like demand zone. On the hourly, it doesn't look like. Okay, so there's no demand here, and there is supply here. Okay, for whoever was asking how supply looks. Okay, look at this movement. Okay, sideways movement, and then break lower. So that's a classic supply. Okay, so supply area. So on this pair, okay, that's the only one I see. We were compressing towards what it looked at demand, but now that I went to a lower time frame, I didn't see the demand here very clearly to react to. So I would be more inclined to wait for a pullback to the supply area or to the top of the channel, and then to sell. Okay, that would be my call, because I don't see any. I didn't see any clear demand here to react to. Of course, new fundamentals might create new demand areas and new supply areas, but if there's no fundamentals and news and important news announcements, just given the information I have now in the market, I would be more inclined to sell than to buy. Okay, we are forming lower lows we were kind of following this channel, or we are still forming this channel, but I see more supply here than demand back here. So a rally to the upside, this demand, this supply, or probably those levels, I would be more inclined to sell. Okay, that's my call. And let me go back to the chat. How far you go back in time to determine if it's a supply or demand? As long as it's still fresh, hasn't been tested, it is a valid demand or supply level. At those levels, fundamentals tend to be announced, and markets tend to react to those areas. And if there are on-field pending orders, they stay in the market for very long time. So as long as it hasn't been tested, it is a valid supply or demand area to trade off. Let me see EuroCAD. We spoke about this one, I think 2 weeks ago. We draw this channel. So we're still waiting. There's nothing here still. We had this attempt to break, we failed. Let me see if there's some demand created at least. Okay, look at this demand. Nice demand, and this not very clear, but there's some support here. Okay, you can see how market just kept moving up. So look at this. The market attempt to break and was rejected. Okay, and created new demand, which I just showed you the demand on lows, and now we tried to break higher, but we also fail on that. But it looks like there's a new demand and buying pressure trying to push this market higher. Still early to say. Let me see how that area looks. Okay, so if there's yeah, given this formation, looks like it wants to break higher now. Okay, it had one attempt, it's pulling back. It might go to this key level here or to the demand. It looks like it wants to go higher. And first target would be that supply that I just marked. That's the area, but still early. Of course, you can buy at market, or you can wait for the break, a new demand being created here, and then a retest of that demand, and then the continuation, which is I'm more inclined to trade that way than the break itself. But not always you get that opportunity of the retest of the demand. Okay, so it's a personal choice if you jump at market, or if you wait for the break and then the retest and then continuation higher. Lucas wants to go higher. Early to say. Seasonality, summer months, we don't tend to see a lot of breakout markets, so it might just continue sideways. But given last days, okay, look at this push and this push. Looks like it has more bullish momentum building right now. They can. Okay, similar. You can see similar pattern. We're in a range. This will eventually break. We are now at key levels, there will be a lot of interest of trying to hold those markets there, because if that breaks, that might be an aggressive breakout. So those tend to hold. I mean, we could see continuation lower and a break lower, but those historical levels tend to hold. And we'll, I don't know, we'll see a breakout. There's some supply here. I guess there will be some supply up there. But right now, I would stay on the sidelines, or I would wait for the breakout itself to happen and then the retest of this area to continue. Okay, if you see this area, okay, we had a break, pullback, and then continuation. So that's what I would like to see: a break, retest, continuation. Okay, not very clear directional market here. Okay, guys, I think that would be it. I think I didn't miss any. Thank you for coming. And these are weeks. Just remember the months we're trading on. We're summer, not a lot of directional movements and directional markets. So just adapt and tune your strategies to that, and be open to trade both sides. And tomorrow on Wednesday will be more active trading sessions. So this is for this session and for the week. So have a great trading week, and thanks for coming, and see you next week, guys. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.